Aloha, everyone. Today I wanted to talk about the MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe, a subject that's come up before. It's kind of like one of the biggest things in movies these days. And we all know that it's building up to Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet. And what fans are wondering now, what I'm wondering, is once you've told that story, where do you go from there? How do you top that? So the Marvel Universe is going to continue after that. And they don't tell us too much about their plans, but they've told us a little. They've said that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is going to look almost completely different after this whole Infinity War storyline has been told. And we don't know what that means. We just know that they're planning for it to look completely different. I've heard speculation that the Infinity Gauntlet, specifically the Reality Stone that's part of it, will be used to rewrite reality and do a soft reboot, basically, which will allow them to just recast all the actors whose contracts are up after this next batch of movies. So we'd have a new actors playing Captain America and Iron Man and so on. And that would all be all part of the same universe, but just the whole history will be different now because it will have been rewritten with cosmic powers. So that seems possible. So a lot of people have had that speculation. That does seem possible. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens. My thoughts have been that that still leaves the question of, how do you top Thanos? I mean, even if the whole thing's been soft rebooted, you still want to tell a story that's going to grab people at least as much as Thanos, something with similar stakes and as much spectacle. Thinking at what Marvel has in the comics that could possibly match that, the only thing I come up with is Galactus. So, I'm thinking that Marvel would be seriously considering having a storyline, whether it's with the same actors or different actors, different characters, whatever. They would have they'd have to be seriously considering bringing Galactus in, but they don't have the movie rights to Galactus. That was part of the Fantastic Four, which was sold to Fox. Fox has the movie rights to Fantastic Four. But it seems possible that Fox might be willing, if for the right price, to sell those movie rights back, or at least work out some kind of a deal, since they so far have not been able to make a whole lot of money off of the Fantastic Four. And if they get the Fantastic Four back, it seems to me that would be a good direction to go after Thanos. After Thanos, if you have the Avengers looking completely different, maybe not all the big huge stars, maybe some smaller characters are in the Avengers, not as popular at this point since you don't have those actors anymore, assuming they don't soft reboot everything. Then perhaps you change the focus. The Avengers might still be part of it, but the focus might now be on the Fantastic Four if Marvel gets the rights back. People say about Marvel that their big three, DC has a big three: Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Marvel, if they have a big three, it's not individuals, it's groups. And that would be the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four. And they're never going to get the X-Men back. Fox is having success with the X-Men. So, and the X-Men can kind of work as their own universe, because it's always been a little bit funny in the Marvel universe how, mutants are this, group that a lot of people mistrust, and, just out of prejudice, there's a lot of distrust for mutants, for people born with superpowers. Yet people that get superpowers by accident, or through experimentation, or through technology, they're fine. They're celebrated as heroes. whereas mutants are looked upon with suspicion, and that's always been kind of weird. So having the mutants, the Marvel characters, I mean the X-Men characters, in a separate universe, I think it can kind of still work. But it is weird not having the Fantastic Four, because they are, I think, closer in tone to Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, than to the X-Men universe. So if they were to bring the Fantastic Four back, they would be able to have they'd be able to do Fantastic Four movies, have like the storylines that like discoveries from Reed Richards, be like the catalyst to leading to the next big story, and gradually leading up to probably Galactus, and they'd be able to get Doctor Doom in. Doctor Doom is like one of the most recognized, most popular villains in comic books, and that's one thing that Marvel Cinematic Universe has lacked is popular villains. They've got Loki, and everybody seems to love Loki, but beyond that, it's kind of debatable as to if some villains everybody agrees are kind of weak, and then there's others that are kind of, well, that villain's kind of okay. Red Skull's kind of okay. Ultron's kind of okay. But if they do him right, I think audiences would agree that Doctor Doom is a great on-screen villain for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it would be great to see him interact not just with the Fantastic Four, but with Avengers characters and things like that. And if they don't get the Fantastic Four back to kind of anchor the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think it might at least be possible for them to at least cut a deal where they could use Galactus. I don't know if that's what they've got in mind, but really, what else can match Thanos in the Marvel Universe? From the Marvel Comics, what else can match Thanos? The Beyonder, maybe? They could do maybe a Secret Wars kind of thing? Possibly, but other than that, I don't know where you go. You can do something like House of M, because that involves the X-Men, that involves mutants. You can't do that. So, yeah, it seems to me that that's pretty much one of the few routes they could take. And I'd really like to see Marvel get the Fantastic Four back, because I think they could do them right. And I'd like to see a really fun Fantastic Four movie with a little bit of the sensibilities of like a Doctor Strange, with this exploring these alternate dimensions and these strange psychedelic worlds and things like that, and a little bit of the humor and the family dynamic you get in like maybe a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing, with like just the epic nature of of an Avengers film. I think you could mesh those together and come up with a really good Fantastic Four film, and I'd really like to see that. And they could probably do like a solo The Thing movie or something like that. Branch off, as well as continuing with whatever characters are newer, that they would still have the actors under contract, with maybe like Ant-Man or Doctor Strange or something like that popping in. Maybe they're part of the Avengers now, or something like that, and they would bring those characters in and just weave this whole story with focusing on the Fantastic Four, but still being able to give you the feel of this whole broader universe that they've been creating. And that's how I'd like to see them go. And I think it's certainly possible, depending upon how the contract negotiations end up working out. But is that likely? Is it more likely that, well, they're just going to reboot the thing and have new actors and everything like that, and still focus on the Avengers just being played by new characters? Yeah, and that may even be more likely. But still, where do you go from there? Can they get Galactus? Do they go with the Beyonder in Secret Wars, or is there something else they can do? I'd like to see them, at least right after the whole Infinity War storyline closes, at least do a few like smaller personal stories, just as like a palate cleanser, like kind of like Logan, movies that focus on just a very small story that affects only like where the stakes are not like world changing, but they're important to like a select few people, and just gets really personal. I'd like to see Marvel do that in like a PG-13 way, as opposed to the R-rated way. It's something that still maintains kind of that sensibility from the Marvel Cinematic Universe we've seen before, kind of that fun and that excitement, but I think you could still do that in a way where the stakes are more personal. And I like to see them do that before moving on to the next big, huge thing. But what that big, huge thing is remains to be seen. Well, what are your thoughts about the future of the MCU? Do you have any other ideas of what direction it might go in? Like, comment, subscribe, and that's a wrap.